Batman and ninjas, y'all. Batman and ninjas.
Yes.
You ready to get your learn on? This is Andrew, everybody, and I'm once again joined by Ben Atavius, the Ben Knight himself.
Yes, I'm here to step into the dojo and get some tutelage from Ninjutsu.
We are on brand like a motherfucker here today. And White Shadow joins us.
White Shadow is here to get his tutelage on some ninja knowledge from Ninjutsu.
Shit, ninja tutelage. Yes,
Yeah.
everybody, it is I'm going to be leading this one here today. So it's about Batman and ninjas, as we've already said. And so in this installment, we're going to be going over not everything that ever existed as far as ninjas are concerned with Batman. We're going to be going over just the major heavy hitters. So if I miss something, leave it in the comments and we'll get it the next time. Okay? So I'm not going to, from the top of this episode, not going to be the most exhaustive thing ever. And there's some things I just could not find in my research, and Dan couldn't find either. Our fifth Beatle, Dan. So, our research assistant. So, yeah, we'll go over that when we get there. But what we will go over is some of the major ninja elements in the Batman mythos across the comics, in live action, and animation. And then we'll also discuss notable ninjas.
Notable ninjas.
That's in the comics. And then
I
ninja
like that.
weapons.
Yeah.
Ninja weapons at the end. And just as in my other episodes I led, like on Themyscira and Atlantis, we're going to do actual historical information peppered in. And when we do that, we're going to be calling those Ninja Nuggets.
Ninja Nugget.
So let's get some pop culture bearings here, right?
Sure.
So let's cover the first ninja appearance in Western pop culture, okay? All right, so there was a ninja boom in the 80s in America. We all know that. But Japan experienced its own ninja boom in their popular culture in the 60s. And there was a popular movie called Shinobi Mono, a.k.a. The Band of Assassins. It's called that as well. And let me move over the slide. So, yeah, Shinobi no Mono, it's in black and white. This is a popular ninja movie.
We can't see it right now.
Oh, shit. What's happening? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me change over to the deal. Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right. So, as we can see in the YouTube part, it's, classic 60s film. It's got ninjas in it, ninja action. And interesting thing about this is Roald Dahl saw it. Hold on.
Oh, Roald Dahl.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm going to skip around that. So, when English author Roald Dahl saw Shinobi no Mono on a visit to Japan, he was sufficiently impressed to borrow from it for his screenplay for the James Bond script of You Only Live Twice in 1967, including the villainous Oda Nobunaga's fondness for stroking cats imitated by Blofeld, and oh my god, Blofeld is Nobunaga.
Jesus.
I just
All right.
learned that Roald Dahl wrote a screenplay for a James Bond movie.
He did, yeah. You Only Live Twice, and that was the first time you saw the face of Blofeld, which was then parodied for Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
That's,
I didn't know there was this connection to a ninja movie, though.
I didn't either. This was something that I discovered in my research for this episode. I don't know if the historical Nobunaga, this is a real historical guy, right? This is, it always comes up in Japanese epics. If you see in their histories, if you saw the Japan and the Samurai, whatever that thing was called on Netflix earlier this year, they go over Nobunaga a lot. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. But he was a warlord essentially, and he, Japan wasn't one country in the 1600s pretty much. It was these disparate factions. So there was this move to unite the nation, and he was one of the major factors in that. Anyway, also fucking influenced fucking Blofeld with the cat thing. Because in this movie, in Shinobi no Mono, he has a fucking cat. I could not believe that when I learned this.
That's amazing, because I don't think the cat is in the James Bond novels from the ones that I read. Blofeld does not have, he's not stroking a cat in any of those. It just became part of the canon with the movies, but I had no idea there was this connection at all until You discovered it just now.
Is Donald Pleasance the first appearance of Blofeld?
First face of Blofeld, yeah, that's Donald Pleasance.
Okay.
Only one appearance with him before he got switched out with Telesavalos, who then gets switched out with Charles Gregg. A whole bunch. There was the only time there's been one actor playing Blofeld more than once is Christoph Waltz recently, and that's it.
Interesting.
Ben Juan. Yes, that's right. Incredible find. And this kind of relates back to our episode that you did. Was it Patreon? The Bond connections?
Yeah, James Bond and Batman stuff. Yeah. So
yeah,
this does relate to it in a sort of circuitous way.
Yeah, I was about to say the word circuitous as well. It's a little circuitous, but You Only Live Twice is the first time we see ninjas in Western culture, really. So. Thanks to Raoul Dahl seeing this ninja movie when he was in Japan, we then have this, and that probably started to plant the seed for the 80s ninja boom that would happen later on in America.
Yeah,
so
I will say that the book of You Only Live Twice, which was written sometime before the movie, of course, but it does feature Bond getting some training in ninjutsu and ninja tactics in order to infiltrate Blofeld's headquarters, which in the book is this castle with like a garden of death and poisonous plants and stuff, which some who saw No Time to Die might find that sounds familiar. But he learns ninja tactics in order to infiltrate, and I think the movie was just like, let's just have Bond with ninjas. Let's bring him even further into it than what they have it. So it's even more exaggerated in the movie.
Yeah, so if Raoul Dahl's the one that the guy that wrote the script for it, it wasn't the original book then, right? This ninja aspect?
Just him getting training, I believe just him getting training in order to use ninja tactics in order to get in. But it's not him literally teaming up with a whole bunch of ninjas to infiltrate this volcano base like we see in the movie.
Okay, yeah. I assume there were some differences there. So, yeah that's cool. And there he is with the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, James Bond probably influences Batman eventually. So it's a little circuitous, but it's there. I just like to lay the groundwork. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. No, this is awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to move to the next slide now. So another thing, let's get our bearings here. So the ninjutsu, right? So to put it simply, ninja is one who practices ninjutsu, basically. And this definition is, we're going to go over this in detail in this episode, I think. But other words associated with ninjutsu are assassin, deception, and martial arts, of course. And the ninja are from Japan specifically. What can be a little bit rough about defining it sometimes is there's been espionage and warfare in every war since we were cavemen, probably, right? So it's not, that part's not specific to Japan, but this exact thing with the hood and these specific weapons, it's to Japan specifically. So I want to define that before we go forward. Also, it is ninjutsu. It's not ninjutsu. I don't know if it comes from Brazilian jiu-jitsu of them saying jitsu or something, but it is J-U in the Japanese. If you were to say that kanji with Roman letters, it's J-U. DC Fandom or Fandom Wiki, not Fandom, but DC Fandom has a pretty decent write-up. I was surprised on this.
Nice.
But it says ninjutsu, which can mean the art of forbearance or ninja techniques, is the Japanese martial art created by a group of families originally from the Iga and Koga regions of Japan. So the Iga and Koga ninja are famous major clans there. And I was just surprised that they got this specific. Like this is exactly correct on DC Fandom. There is not a bit of this that is wrong, so that's great. And I'll have this kanji up too because, like I said, it says the art of forbearance, right? So this kanji nin here, the bigger one on the YouTube, is the nin in ninja, and it does mean to forbear, to persevere, actually. So it does also mean to sneak, but it does also equally carry this meaning of survival and forbearance and perseverance. Because I have the two these two components for the kanji on the right side here of the screen. The top part is blade, bottom part is heart. Okay, so you have to have the perseverance. The idea, anyway, is you have the perseverance of a heart of a knife at your heart to be able to persevere through that situation. And you can take that in any kind of thing you want, but basically, ninjutsu is also the way of surviving, the way of persevering, right? So there's that. This kanji blade too, right here, is the one used in Demon Slayer recently in recent anime, because the Japanese title is the Demon Slayer Blade. Anyway, that's a tangent. Okay,
I do like the connection to perseverance, because that's a trait that I think everybody can see relates to Batman very much.
Yeah,
he's very much the epitome of that. So to find that there's that connection too is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is very, very much connects to all of this shit. So it's just interesting to bring up, because yes, it is about martial arts and it's about warfare, but there is, like with all kinds of kung fu and all this shit, there's always like a deeper part of the onion, right? A deeper layer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. We will get to actual Batman shit soon. Trust me. All right. So ninjutsu also. This is what DC Fandom also says. There's a whole ninjutsu. They spell it with an I, but there's a whole ninjutsu article there. It says training in disguises, escape, concealment, archery, medicine, poisons, methods of gathering information, non-detection, avoidance, misdirection techniques. Again, all from DCFandom.com, DC.fandom.com. This is totally legit. It's great. So again, we're trying to define this before going forward, because it kind of feels like, to me, in recent years, American Ninja Warrior and shit like that kind of feels like people say, well, he's a ninja, and they just kind of refer to acrobatics and parkour and shit. And it's what about the sneakiness and shit? You're missing kind of what, the main thing is being sneaky, right? It's being so that just kind of like, it doesn't piss me off, but it's just like you're kind of missing a big part of it there. And like in our vernacular lately, at least in America, it just feels like it means parkour dude or something.
Andrew, are you saying that Americans are getting something from another culture wrong?
I mean, kinda, but it's okay. So yeah, we're here to set the record straight here. All right. So yeah. All right. So let's get to some actual comic shit. For Batman's the first ninja appearance in Batman comics. This is one thing I could not find. I asked on Reddit. I asked Dan. I looked myself. Tried to find the first fucking one. It's kind of hard, but oh yeah, there's a T-shirt with a Nin on it. So anyway, but so yeah. I think one of the first things we should talk about is League of Assassins. Of course, they are a secret organization founded by Ra's al Ghul. They are a group of assassins. They work in secret. They first appeared in Strange Adventures 215, but I don't know if they have the name just yet. But it's the way the article made it seem was like they're in there, but they're not quite the League just yet. That happened in Detective Comics 405, and even says introducing the League of Assassins at the bottom, a target Batman at the bottom right there. So yeah, got to talk about the League. They show up quite a bit. They're pretty, even though Ra's al Ghul has a Middle Eastern flair to it. It's just so ninja-y at the end of the day. So it's just hard not to bring that up. And lots of things get mixed up in comics. It's fine. It's fine. We just let it go.
One of the leaders is the Sensei. As well, so that's definitely
we're gonna get to the Sensei.
So was that comic in the 70s with the League of Assassins?
I think it was. It's Detective Comics 405. I have that, but I don't have the.
Well, I know, like Denny O'Neil. I feel like all that writing and stuff was started in the 70s, because that's after like the 60s television shows. So.
Yeah, but like Ra's actually shows up after the League. He actually shows up last. It's the League, then Talia, then Ra's finally shows up.
So kind of like the animated series.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
They did it right. All right, so jumping ahead to another major release. This is going 30 years in the future at this point, but we had in the comics the Ninja Turtles and Batman crossover. It was six issues, and it was with DC, of course, and IDW. And in this story, the turtles and their arch nemesis, the Shredder, have been transported to an alternate universe by Krang. You know, that brain dude?
Oh, yeah.
Here in Gotham City, they meet Batman and clash with a series of members of his famous rogues gallery while attempting to find their way home. Yeah, it's a universe dimension thing. So they find their way in the Batman universe, basically. So I did read this one, and we saw the movie, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But Ben, you just saw the movie for this one, right?
I did. Yeah, I have not finished the comic, but yeah, they definitely kind of were like, yeah, let's save the alternate universe stuff let's keep that in the comic, and we'll just make this a general team up. Like the movie doesn't do the whole alternate universe thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Did you read this one by chance, Zach?
Yeah, I read this one. I haven't seen the animated movie, but I had a friend that was really into this crossover, so he let me borrow like the whole comic book series.
Was it the guy your friend that came on?
No, this is somebody else. He lived in Raleigh when I used to live there, but yeah, he has a huge comic book collection. But yeah, I remember reading all this, the whole storyline.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
It's okay. I
all right,
I actually love the Ninja Turtles, and I love Batman, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of crossovers most of the time. I'm a purist, so I just like things to stay in their own respective universes. But yeah, it was kind of cool, like a neat idea to see happen.
Since I already going into it, kind of like the idea of Batman being a ninja, just ninja meeting ninja, and you know, having training in Japan, both of them. Well, Splinter has the training in Japan, right, I guess, in the regular mythos. But anyway, Japanese style training. I like them meeting up and crossing over, and Donatello kind of freaking out about bat gadgets and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was cool to connect them through the love of knowing those techniques and being ninjas and stuff outside of just, this is a cool character meets this cool character. Like they found another way to connect them outside of the fact that they're in the same comic.
Right, and it must have sold well enough because if the comic sells enough, they'll probably make an animated movie out of it, which they did. So I'm assuming it went well. So
and there are sequel arcs too, which I also haven't had a chance to check out yet. But
I haven't checked out the sequels
second
either.
or third one. I don't know how good they are, but this is not the only team up.
Yeah.
In this storyline, don't they have the Arkham or the like Batman's Rogues Gallery get like the mutagen from the Ninja Turtles, and they turn into like creatures? I do remember that.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
They have fun with that.
Reminds me of Amalgam a little bit, like Amalgam comics, where they had like Dark Claw and like the hyena Joker like mixture. I remember that.
Yeah, they do some similar stuff in that. That was definitely in the movie.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, so moving on to the next one, we got, Bat Manga. I want to do an episode about this. I had to mention it because it's a Japanese run by Jiro Kuwata, and I mean, I couldn't find anything ninja specific to this, even though it's Japanese, made completely in Japan, pretty much. But I, just have to mention it. I love the art. This is like This is in the 60s. This is 60s vintage Japanese manga art. So
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really has its own style. And there's a volume 2. I just ordered it for $3 off Amazon. But
I've got the original collection of these. I think it has like an orangish, like kind of sepia tone cover to it or something like that.
Oh, yeah, but it's in English though, right?
Yes.
Okay, I would love to find the original Japanese manga of this shit, but I've looked on Japanese eBay and Yahoo auctions, and I cannot find this shit, man. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So moving on from that, let's get into a little bit of the live action, huh?
Sounds good.
So Batman Begins has a lot of ninja shit.
Yeah.
Watanabe, League of Assassins, they're all training him, you all know. Even those like little spiky things too are from historical ninjutsu as well on his palm, interior of his palm. All the smoke bomb shit. This is like somebody did their research here, and we're gonna get a little bit more into that. But there's just, man, it's just surprising how deep they went down the ninja rabbit hole for this. let's look at one more clip here. I mean, he's wearing like the ninja garb, as you see ninja armor.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear what the influences are with this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much drug use was done in the for ninja fucking training. But
that's a good point.
Some opium.
Yeah, there's something. This is in Tibet ultimately, but maybe they're mixing shit. But it is cool what they did. It's some of my favorite scenes. That I thought they even said the word. No, he does say ninjutsu, right?
Yeah, he says ninjutsu employs explosive powders.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, and yeah.
So Ra's al Ghul got the word wrong too.
He might have said ninjutsu, yeah.
He might have. I don't remember his specific delivery.
Faker. Yeah. Poser.
What was great about Batman Begins to me was like it mixed Batman, ninjas, and zombies all in one, because it's kind of a zombie thing at the end, and it's kind of seamless. So
definitely was like a little bit horrific, at the end, like almost like a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, that's how Scarecrow. That's a natural evolution for Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love these scenes. It's great. Some of the best stuff from Nolan, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's move on to The Dark Knight.
Ninja Nugget.
So when I saw The Dark Knight, I already knew about some historical ninjutsu stuff, and I have this clip of teacher showing some, like it's a little demo, and it's he's using what's called a kyoketsu shoge, which is like it's a rope on like historically a metal ring used to just hit people with, and the other hand has like a hook kind of thing. It's a hell of a weapon. You can swing it around like Gogo Yabari does in fucking
Kill Bill.
That's kung fu, but it's a similar kind of vibe, and trap opponents and stuff like that. I think the original clip I found on YouTube, this guy's name is Hatsumi Sensei. Hatsumi Sensei is like, it's more opponents. I remember it having more opponents, and like in the middle of the fight, you use the rope to tie somebody up, and they don't know it. Like you're defending yourself, but with the other parts of the kyoketsu shoge, but you're also in the middle, like without your opponent knowing it. Ideally, you've wrapped them all up. So when I saw, I remember seeing that, I was aware of this kind of martial art, and so at the end of The Dark Knight, they kind of do that. They kind of have this thing whenever he's putting on, when he has the lenses on, right?
Yeah. He does that to the SWAT team.
He does it to the SWAT team. So hold on, let's take a look at that real quick in the YouTube version. We're going to talk over it, so don't worry. So yeah, it's kind of, looking at it now, it's kind of tough to tell really what's going on, I think, but
yeah,
I think there's deliberate subterfuge on Nolan's part, so he doesn't give away what's happening.
Right.
That part until he kicks that one dude off.
And this is genius. I mean, this is like, again, this is some real ninja shit going on here. Like, you think you got me, but you've been had this whole time. Ideally, this is what should happen. So this is another, even though it's a little bit hard to tell, like you said, it's probably on purpose, but it's kind of a bravo to Nolan for me for this one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's also non-lethal as well.
It's non-lethal. Yeah, you just wrap them up. You don't have to like slice them up for this one, right?
I think you're supposed to think that he's like, oh my god, did Batman just kick that guy up the side of the building first?
Yes.
Right.
The first time you ever saw it.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think so far about all this ninja tutelage?
I mean, there was always that element in Batman Begins, and it's cool to sort of see the origins that you brought up earlier and how they tie into that, because I think a lot of people see the elements of ninja stuff, but I don't think they see it as deeply as what we're about to go into, or what we've been going into so far.
Like, Batman does parkour. He's a ninja. wait a second. White Shadow?
I really like it so far. I really enjoyed finding out about the Blofeld connection, because I had no idea about that. I think that's really interesting, and Raoul Dahl, and I guess I should have known that. I like James Bond, but I'm not like super knowledgeable about all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, I guess I really like that stuff in Batman Begins too. The ninja stuff was very interesting to me, because I feel like that was tapping into like something nobody had seen before, like a part of like Batman's origin, or just like covering new ground that hadn't been tread over by Burton and Schumacher and even the '60s Batman shows. So yeah, I think that's it's really cool so far. It just seems like it just flows so easily with Batman's story and kind of like who he is as a character and his methods and practices as far as crime fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a natural match because, I mean, like I said, there's been espionage in every war ever, but there's just something that resonates with people, especially pop culture-wise, with sneakiness, with smoke bombs, with using even, masks, all these similar weapons. Gauntlets are kind of a ninja thing, too.
Mm-hmm.
So it just meshes so well. And, we're going to see more, but after the break.
Here at Chat of the Wild, our Game Club podcast, we have been using our lens of truth to do deep dives on the Legend of Zelda series, in order, covering 1 to 2 dungeons each episode. Our show also looks at Zelda-likes, such as Crusader of Senti, Golden Axe Warrior, and the bizarre journey of For the Frog, the Bell Tolls. Join us right now as we play Ari and the Secret of Seasons, our first new release since Season 1, or check out our past seasons breaking down nearly 20 action-adventure titles. New episodes drop every Wednesday, here on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
Lord have mercy, y'all. Do you like hounds? Do you enjoy pooches? Do you find yourself enjoying time spent with that of canines? Talking about dogs, y'all.
As you might have heard, Superhero Stuff You Should Know has now teamed up with BarkBox. For every month, you get a box for your special canine.
Pooches.
Or hounds.
That's right. 1 free extra month if you go to barkbox.com/superherostuffpod.
Follow the link and you'll get a free extra month valued at $35 and valid for all multi-length plans.
So get the BarkBox for your hound, for your pooch, for your canine.
Your doggo will thank you.
All right, and we're back. Batman and ninjas, y'all. Okay.
Looking at White Shadow.
White Shadow over here.
White Shadow.
We cannot not talk about Night of the Ninja, y'all.
Yeah.
35th episode of Batman the Animated Series. It originally aired on October 26th, 1992. It revolves around a former fellow martial artist rival of Bruce Wayne's, who comes to Gotham City to get revenge for being exiled from the dojo that he and Bruce Wayne studied in. This is the one with the Kyodai-Ken, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And I'm surprised that he didn't transfer over into the comics as much as like Harley Quinn or Renee Montoya.
Right.
That seems like such a rich storyline to continue into the comics. It's like, the other student who went on the other path type of thing. And they do that with some other characters, but I just really loved how they did it in the animated series.
I thought he fell into a volcano.
No, I don't mean like continue the storyline of it, but just like do another version of it.
Bring this guy over
in the
again.
Main canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, oh my God, I saw this when it aired, dude. I was like, Batman and Ninjas, like the name of this episode. It was This is the best shit ever. So yeah, this is one of the better ones for me, and yeah, it has the Kyodai-Ken in it. So this is another Ninja Nugget.
Ninja Nugget!
Kyodai, they just kind of made this name up, I think. Kyodai generally just means brother or brotherhood.
Okay.
So, like, especially in, like, manga and anime, like, I'm sure, like, whenever Loki calls Thor brother, they're always like, Kyodai. That's kind of the vibe of that word. So, and Ken means punch, so it's like the brother punch. It doesn't make much sense. It sounds like a white guy made this name.
Maybe it's supposed to be ironic because it's like brother, but he's his enemy.
It's like the punch coming from the Brotherhood, which is their secret organization of ninjas. Or maybe we've thought about this way more than Paul Dini ever did. I don't know.
Right. Most
Bruce
likely.
Timm.
Maybe it would have made more sense if that was his like pseudonym or his like villain name, and his real name was something else or something.
Yeah, we have the internet now, and it's much easier to ask Japanese people shit now too. So we just got to let this slide. It's a product of the '90s, early '90s as well. So yeah, there's that. Moving on, jumping quite ahead. How can we not mention Batman Ninja? It's called Ninja Batman in Japan. Actually, I think Ninja Batman sounds better too. Honestly,
I think so too,
Yeah.
It's a 2018 Japanese animated superhero film directed by Junpei Mizusaki. Takashi Okazaki, the creator of Afro Samurai, is the character designer for the film. Interesting tidbit I found while learning this, guys. In its American release, writers Leo Chu and Eric Garcia have admitted to rewriting the film from the original Japanese script written by Kazuki Nakashima, ultimately making two entirely different versions of the same film. So I'd love to find even the Japanese version of this script, guys. I'll translate it if I have to. So anybody out there that has this first script of Batman Ninja, that would be awesome. Ben and I actually saw this at the premiere at WonderCon together?
Yeah, it was WonderCon 2018.
So let me set the stage for you. We watch it. We walk out. Ben is like visually upset, or like just he didn't have a good time. I knew he didn't like the movie. So Ben, go over this real quick.
I think part of it was just like, oh, this is kind of a cool idea. It gets transported back to feudal Japan or so. So he doesn't have the same gadgets. There's no Lucius Fox. He's like down to the basics type of stuff because there's no technology for him to rely on.
Yeah.
And then instead we get like these like mech warrior big things that the villains are, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why did you need to transport them to Japan in the past for this to happen? And it was just not my thing. Okay. I think it was, let's have Batman done through these, tropes of anime that I'm just not super into. So I think that was more of the purpose as opposed to what I thought it would be, where it was going to be, down to the basics. I have like none of the utility belt stuff is going to work, any of those sorts of things. So I was expecting something different, but I would be down to see the original Japanese version if that was available. Yeah.
I wonder what they did with that, but I think your expectations were in the wrong place. I mean, I'd be excited for that version too,
right?
But it just seems like, let's put Batman through the lens of anime tropes as much as possible, and essentially, it's kind of steampunk Japan.
A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The mechs, it's like old school 1800s mechs made out of Japanese castles and shit. I liked it just because of what it did with the trope shit. It is very silly, but I like silly stuff. And, I mean, it could have been a little bit more badass in some ways, but I liked how they just went absolutely fucking nuts with it. It would be cool if we got more of like a Ninja Scroll badass kind of, R-rated, it's all about sneaking in the shadows kind of Batman Ninja movie. Make that the sequel, please, DC. That would be fucking sweet. But Zach, you saw this as well?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I think I didn't have any expectations for it whatsoever, so I just watched it when it came out and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty like fun. And I saw the trailer, so I knew it was going to be like something just like balls to the wall crazy. So like I had that kind of forethought going in, but yeah, I haven't watched it again. I haven't like felt like watching it again, but it was fun to watch one time.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they've given Batman over to Japan with first time with Jiro Kuwata, and now this. I'm interested to always see these different interpretations, and they did that weird detour shit with Joker in it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah,
if you've ever liked one anime in your life and you like Batman, give it a shot.
You'll like it.
So yeah, you'll probably like it. So
yep.
So there you go. The next one is we talked about the comic, but there was also, of course, the animated movie in 2019 of Batman versus TMNT, Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this story focuses on Batman, Robin, and Batgirl teaming up with the Ninja Turtles in order to save Gotham City from chaos at the hands of both Shredder and Ra's al Ghul. I do like them kind of getting together, and Ra's al Ghul is his ninja enemy too, right? So
yeah, it's perfect.
Makes a lot of sense. So Ben, you just saw this one, huh?
I did, yeah. I saw that a couple of days ago because I knew that this was going to be tied into this type of stuff. And I do think some of the best stuff is the connection between the sort of two worlds of characters of like ninja shit. And like that's how they can connect. And you're also up against the villains who also know these types of moves. And That's why it becomes very exciting too when it's like Batman versus Shredder, and how like he wants to kick his ass in return after what happened earlier. And I'm like, okay, you feel that because it's like everybody's kind of from the same school. It really makes sense. It makes more sense than if it was just like another. It's the Joker again, even though he is in this, but only for like really the middle section.
Right.
I think I'd like to see a version of this that is the Batman 89 teamed up with like the what was it, 1990 Ninja Turtles? Is that when that movie came out, the original one?
90 or 91 maybe.
They're like right in the same universe. I feel like the way those movies look. I don't know, I kind of wish
you
the
guys
comic
are too
looked
young
like
to
that.
see that in the theater, right? You were too young to see the 90s, the first one in the theater, probably.
Yeah, I just saw it on VHS.
Yep.
Okay, I saw them both in the theater, man. They were like a year apart too. The first movie, you know, I'm like 6 years old. We talked about this in the Ninja Turtles episodes, but like Raphael says "damn" in it, and everybody's mother probably turned over to their kid, just like it happened with me, and they're like, "What are we watching?" Because they went way dark. They went way dark compared to the cartoon, but they were basing it off the comic, and no one really knew what the comic was. Everybody just knew the cartoon, especially moms and the kids. Anyway. I still love the movie. It's a great movie.
Look at Scarecrow's big ass head over there.
Yeah, he's got a huge head in this.
Yeah. It looks like there's like a couple versions of him that look like that from the Scarecrow Tales collection that they released like right around the time of Batman Begins. I think it's like kind of late 90s, early 2000s. There's a couple stories with Scarecrow having this like big head, like giant mouth, like it's got to be flopping around on his head. I just noticed that.
Fills it with straw. That seems uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
If your mask was filled with straw up against your cheeks, it doesn't sound.
Yeah, I grew up on like we had a barn and everything in our backyard, and we had to get hay for our horses, and I hate hay. Hay is itchy. It's terrible. Like I can't imagine the Scarecrow actually wearing that shit. Like burlap is not comfortable.
Extra crazy, bro.
I guess so. He just is an itchy motherfucker.
It could make him itch like crazy.
Gives me my power.
Did we go over thoughts for this fucking movie? I thought it was pretty damn good for what it was.
It's fun.
Ben, it's fun, right?
I thought it was a lot of fun, and I like those ninja elements, and I like that Batman's arc is accepting pizza in a way.
It's enough, bro. It's enough. He's lightening up though, right?
Yeah, it's more about lightening up and being okay with teaming up with others and that type of stuff, which is kind of like if you're going to have these personalities come together, that's pretty much what you would expect in terms of the arc for this. But so I liked it. Was a fun aspect to it. I'd like to see more in this universe.
It skews younger. Look at the way Batman's drawn in it. You know, it's definitely one you can show. Like I have a 7-year-old nephew. I could easily watch this with him. Be like, hey, Sonny boy, I watched Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. You know what I mean? We could have that. We could have that whole thing going on. And he likes Batman too. So, it's pretty good. I remember Wolfie didn't like the humor, but I thought the jokes landed for me. But, anyway. All right. So, now we're going to move on to notable ninjas.
Notable ninjas.
And we're going to go back to comics a little bit. So this one was interesting. This is something that Super Inframan told me about. This is Robin Annual Volume 2 and Number 3. I don't know how the numbers work on this, but that's what it tells me. Mainly Volume 2, I think. From September 1994. It seems to be a Robin in Japan story. I didn't get my hands on it, but I have the basic, some of the basic characters from it. There's literally a character called Bat Ninja in it.
I love it.
Nice.
Okay.
He's not afraid
Wiki,
to get that sword dirty either, I see.
Yeah, look at that.
Sword straight up bloody in this, yeah. Bat Ninja was sworn to protect House Toyotomi and kill no one that he had been ordered to kill. So they had some kill rule stuff going on in this one. It's also called Narrow Path. That's probably the name of this arc. Okay. The Narrow Path. So, yeah. We got Bat Ninja. We also got Tengu. DC Fandom states Tengu is the second son of the Lord Hideyoshi. These are also, like Nobunaga, real historical characters. They're putting this is I guess Elseworlds going in the past in Japan. But Tengu is the second son of the Lord Hideyoshi, who was brought to the manor of the Bat Ninja. So, to be trained as a successor to its owner and to protect the Toyotomi clan after him. One day, Bat Ninja and Tengu are attacked by ninja who bear the sign of the Venom Rose. So,
nice.
I don't know what the Venom Rose is. I didn't get any pictures of that, but I do kind of want to read this. It looks kind of cool. It's a mid-90s
awesome,
comic.
Yeah,
it seems cool. We got some samurai armor here with some bat shit on it. It's got bat wings on the helmet.
Perfect.
And it looks cool. Ninja Nugget here.
Ninja Nugget.
Tengu, it's not just a name.
I was going to ask about this, yeah.
Yeah, it's from Japanese mythology. There are these bird-like monster, half bird, half man demons. They have long noses, kind of ridiculous noses, and that often live in the mountains. And also, their mythology, Tengu mythology and ninja mythology, sort of intersect. Also, like they were taught martial arts by the Tengu, shit like that. Like if ninja ever have magical powers, they got their magic from the Tengu. So, yeah, they're pretty cool. I've always liked them. They got the nose is ridiculous, but it's kind of cool. They show up quite a lot. They've been around for hundreds of years in mythology. So. Also in Demon Slayer, a popular anime lately, it's not a Tengu, but a guy that wears a Tengu mask. One of the teachers in there. Yeah, the nose.
Is it supposed to be phallic?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, but I think it's just, this is getting into pseudo history / just conspiracy theory shit. But some people think that maybe they saw foreigners on the Silk Road or something way in their past.
Yeah.
And they saw that they had big noses, and that like eventually became Tengu. Again, no one really knows about the nose.
I see. Okay.
So
only the nose knows.
Yeah.
Also in the Knight's End comic, when Bruce Wayne is he's healed, but he needs to get back into getting into the bat suits to take it back from John Paul Valley. Lady Shiva gives him, I believe, the Mask of Tengu is what it's called. Does not look at all like this. It basically just looks like a Japanese bat mask. Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't quite get that part right, but they got the name over. So when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay. This is probably something that isn't just a random name that they put in there. So I'm glad that you went into who or what Tengu is.
It's the Ninja Nugget. Yeah, they're like we have goblins and all kinds of our historical monsters. Japan also has their own thing. Every culture has this, right? So they're called yokai, which essentially means monsters. I think Tengu is one of the yokai. And it's not a religious thing. They're not demons necessarily. They're not part of Shinto or Buddhism necessarily, I think. It's more cultural than it is religious. Again, I could be wrong, and, say something in the comments. But, yeah. Moving on from that, it's got Cat Ninja.
Oh, yeah.
The Cat Ninja may or may not be the wife of Lord Hideyori. I guess it says that's the wording in the DC Wiki, so I guess they're trying to avoid spoilers. This is a spoiler point here. So she has maybe some relation to Lord Hideyori, so there you go.
Gotcha. She's got the claws, too, that you would expect
from
Catwoman.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so there's that. Cool to have Cat Ninja there. And then we got the other notable ninja, the Yoru Sensei, comes from Night of the Ninja. In the Batman episode, he ran a martial arts, the BTAS episode. He ran a martial arts academy in Japan and was the teacher of a young Bruce Wayne. As a young man, Bruce enrolled himself in Yoru's dojo for an extended period of time to learn numerous martial arts. He rose to become one of the dojo's best students. The only other student able to consistently defeat him was Kyodai-Ken. So it's not just the name of the technique; it's the name of the guy.
Yep.
Does that kanji mean anything in the background?
Ooh.
The big one looks like just like close to E, which is like E, but you say E. And the ones on the left, it's not. I mean, it means Honindo, which is it could be real, but it's like real, the path of the real person. It might be made up. It sounds like it's getting close to sounding legit, but I don't know if it's actually legit.
I didn't know if they just picked like random kanji characters to throw up there.
It's true. Yeah.
The bigger one looks more random. The ones on the left look a lot more. They are legit.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So moving on from that, we got the Sensei.
Yes.
So he's a fictional supervillain appearing in DC Comics, of course, created by writer-artist Neil Adams, and first appeared in Strange Adventures 215.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the same one as before.
Yeah.
That's December of 1968. The character is a martial arts sensei and adversary of Batman, along with Deadman and other heroes. It does list Deadman as one of his foes. So yeah. The Sensei is the maternal great-grandfather of Damian Wayne and the father of Ra's al Ghul. And also the paternal grandfather of Talia al Ghul. The Sensei is an expert martial artist. His longevity allowed him to learn dozens of martial arts over the centuries, able to beat Batman within minutes. The character also appeared whitewashed as fuck on Gotham.
On Gotham, yeah.
That's White Shadow right there.
That's White Shadow, man. This is the Sensei, dude. This guy right here. They always
like
get...
he looks like the old guy from the Burbs, the doctor guy.
He's the old
How
dude
we learned
from
our
Justified.
lesson, bro?
So I'm not sure if they really meant him to be the same Sensei from the comics.
It doesn't matter,
They
dude.
just called him the Sensei. So
Look, white guys can study martial arts. You can become senseis, but it's the representation. You finally get to a character in the comics named the Sensei. He's Japanese in the comics. At least the first go-around make him Japanese. You know? Maybe get to a white guy after that. I don't know. Hate to be political, you guys, but...
Nah.
He was in the third season. He's played by Raymond J. Barry, and he was renamed to the Temple Shaman because it's so much better.
Yeah, sure.
he was,
White Shadow.
Next, White Shadow, yep.
White Shadow.
Next Ninja Nugget.
Ninja Nugget.
More about learning Japanese and less about ninja, but it's all related. Sensei is comprised of the kanji before or ahead and life. So Sensei, it does mean teacher. Let's not take away that. But just like T-Rex means terrible lizard in Latin, right? The Sensei doesn't just mean teacher, it has these parts, and the sen means before or ahead, sei means life. So it has this kind of deeper meaning of one that's lived a life before you, and that's somebody that can teach you, right? So when I was studying Japanese, this would happen often. It'd be like, damn, this word's way deeper than I was expecting, you know, because I grew up knowing about sensei, but I didn't know about these, deeper implications.
Yeah, you just kind of assume it means teacher,
Yeah.
Or like in Kung Fu, Sifu means like father in a way. So you're just like, okay, like some sort of father, mentor figure, but this I didn't know until you brought up.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's just because, pop culture is only so old, and we only see one level of it, especially since we're not of that culture really. I mean, we're all mixing more and more every day, but still, once you start to do a deeper dive into that culture, you find that there's just a lot more to it than you ever thought. So
definitely.
So yeah, I wanted to bring up Lady Shiva.
Of course,
she's an assassin. It doesn't really say she studies ninjutsu. But I don't know. You kind of have to. Shiva's not a Japanese word either. It comes from Hinduism, I think.
True.
But still, she's got Sai here too, which is
she is
close to
associated with League of Assassins as well. So
yeah, right.
There's that connection too.
Yeah, so she could be the Kunoichi of this episode. We probably should have more in this, but sorry it's being too male-centric, but anyway, yeah, it's Lady Shiva. We'll call her a ninja. She's good enough to be called a ninja, I think. She's an assassin, so there you go. She's one of the most prominent martial artists on the planet in the comics as well, so yeah. Let's just mention her. Kirigi.
Ah, yes. Another
DC
mentor.
Fandom.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a master of ninjutsu living in Paektu Mountain, which is Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Japan and Korea's histories are interconnected. And there's probably a version of ninjas in Korea for sure. But if you're writing a fake story, I don't know why they just didn't make it a mountain chain in Japan. Whatever. But anyway, it's the Paektu Mountain of North Korea. A young Bruce Wayne had sought Kurigi for instruction, gaining some of the skills he would use as Batman. And yeah, he learns ninjutsu from Kurigi, basically. More than Roz in some instances.
Well, Roz was only the teacher in the Nolan-verse.
Right.
It was always Kurigi, but they're just like, this ties in a lot better if it's just Ra's al Ghul who teaches him. So that makes more sense. But it was Kurigi who's kind of influenced what you see in Batman Begins, because in order to get to that monastery, Bruce Wayne had to sort of hike up through this mountain when he's all bundled up and he gets to the door, and all that imagery comes from this comic with Kurigi.
That's cool. Yeah, I like Kurigi. I don't think I've read much of him, but I'd like to read more. So we can't not mention Talia.
Of course.
She's obviously associated with the League, and we also got Damian,
everyone's favorite Robin.
Everybody's favorite Robin, but I mean, he is definitely a ninja, or studies ninjutsu at least. He's, it's a ninja of some sort, and looking very ninja-esque in the YouTube version.
It's better if I don't hear him.
Yeah. Let's get him post, Kung Fu mountain training where he's chilled the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's the Damian I like. So, I have some more. It's a little bit out of order. There's Kurigi. So we're going into ninja weapons.
Ninja weapons!
One of our final topics here before we're out of here. So another ninja nugget. Historically, as far as I gather anyway, the ninja would use whatever the fuck. It's about pragmatism. But there is some history of them using what they call Shinobi-to. The to just means sword, so a shinobi sword, it would be shorter, straighter, because the katana did have some curve to it. And being shorter, it makes it a little bit easier for stealth missions and shit. So there's that. That's a little ninja nugget on there. And then we can't not... this is also the kanji for shinobi. It's the same as nin, but it has a little B. That extra symbol is B, so the nin becomes shinobi with this in a compound like this. So there's that. Shinobi is pretty much synonymous with ninja. Shinobi might be historically older too, but I'm not sure about that as far as the etymology is concerned. Ninja stars, aka Shuriken. They are, Batman originally started out having the Batarang, right? And this started out being basically just a boomerang kind of thing, and of course used to hit opponents. But eventually, since ninjas became more and more popular, the Batarang became very Shuriken-like.
Yep.
Gotta say. So it's another instance of Batman being very, very ninja-like.
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say specifically, I think it's Frank Miller who first came up with that with The Dark Knight Returns, where like he throws a bunch of batarangs and you see just like they're sticking out of the guy's arms and stuff. Yeah, where it's like, these aren't boomerangs anymore.
Yeah. You can say batarang, but you could maybe say bat star at a certain point. I don't know. It's like not a boomerang anymore, which is fine with me because, again, the ninja shit just blends so seamlessly.
Yeah, totally.
How do you pronounce it, Andrew?
Shuriken.
Shuriken.
Shuriken. So, I mean, the kanji for that would be hand under strike. So it's like, or under could maybe be hidden in this case, but it's like hidden under the hand, and ken is strike. Ken can mean punch or strike.
I remember that that's specifically what they said Robin's throwing weapons were. They never called them like Robin Rangs or anything like that. It was
Shuriken.
Like, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of like especially the '90s Tim Drake version, like the revamping of Robin.
Oh yeah, I mean
sounds better than Robin Rangs.
That's the other cool
Robin
Ring.
Ring.
That's another cool thing. I mean, like the historical ninja had this whole what will be essentially a Batman utility belt, all these fucking tools to use on the mission, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and a lot of similarity there. The other Ninja Nugget
Ninja Nugget.
about Shuriken here, historically, I always found this interesting. They weren't necessarily used to just kill immediately. You know, it was, you could just slow down an opponent. If you got the eye, great. But if you didn't, still good. And even sometimes they'd let the motherfuckers rust, hit them with it, and let them die of tetanus. They were cold-blooded, dude.
I love it.
So yeah. I always thought that was a cool historical fact there. We have to mention smoke bombs, dude. Like, it's part of the ninja lore. They really did use them. One thing is, even if it wasn't a smoke bomb, what they would do was hollow out an egg and put in some powder, and then throw that egg into the person's face. The powder would explode, and it was less. I guess you could like leave at that point, but it wasn't used like this in the movies or with Batman. But it's a similar kind of thing. You're using a smoky kind of thing to escape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gotta say, and Ben knows this, I fucking love any of the smoke bomb scenes across all of the Batman movies.
Yes.
I don't care if it's historically accurate or not. I just something about this shit, even though you can kind of see what he's doing here in the.
It makes him seem supernatural. I loved it as a kid.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's some of my favorite scenes. I hope Pattinson has a scene like this. It's just as good as Batman punching somebody, if not better to me. I don't know what it is. I just love the smoke bomb shit. It's just great. So
it feels like something that's like his thing. You know, like it's one of his things is like the smoke bomb, smoke pellets and escape and that type of stuff.
Is Batman a ninja? Ben.
Yeah, no, he definitely is a ninja. I don't think anybody's disputing that, and I think it's cool to look at the history of it as well as all the different characters who are part of it, and I think he absolutely is. I think he combines that with, you know, his own ideals, you know, because clearly he's not the only ninja in the DC universe, but he does stand out from them due to his own methods or his own codes and those sorts of things. So absolutely he is, and it's cool to see, you know, it's not something that was there from the very beginning with the Bill Finger Bob Kane version in a way, but it is sort of trickles in further and further until you get to the 70s and 80s or so, and then now it's kind of just like post Batman Begins. It's sort of a no-brainer to say that, where he's a ninja, absolutely. The Eastern training, that type of stuff, like that's not really in there until like the late 80s and 90s and that type of stuff. But it really goes to show how the character evolves, and in a way it's kind of a cool way to introduce ninjutsu or any of these cultural elements to kids who might be really into Batman, might want to learn a little bit more about these types of things, or just like, oh, like Batman's not the only one who uses smoke pellets. There was actually historical connections to those sorts of things, and that could cause some kids to want to read up on that and explore that further just because it's part of this, you know, beloved character. So I think that's awesome.
Right. White Shadow?
I love it. I think it was awesome. You'll get no argument from me. I never thought that Batman wasn't a ninja. I mean, like we talked about as far as their fighting skills go, Keaton was my first Batman, and he definitely had like some martial arts, at least like poses and stuff that I remember as a kid. So yeah, it just seems like it fits his style and lore so well. Like ninja training. Now it's just, I feel like it's just taken like at face value. Like, yeah, Batman was trained as a ninja. Like, I feel like everybody just knows that now because of, I mean, essentially from Batman Begins, because it's like in the public consciousness. But yeah, it just seems like it fits so well. It fits better than just like Batman using fisticuffs to take down his mobster bad guys. Yeah, it feels like, oh, this guy really knows what he's doing compared to these, you know, cannoli eating guys with the Roman and stuff. So yeah, I just loved like learning about all the history. There was definitely some characters that I didn't even know about. So yeah, it was awesome.
They probably had smoke bombs and gauntlets and him using disguises and working in the shadows even before they knew what a fucking ninja was. Because it's just so part of this ninja. It's so part of the mythos. It's so has so much inherent shared DNA, I guess you could say. So, I just wanted to say, let's look at the major characteristics. He got stealth, operates at night, wears mostly black, trained in Asia, uses fear as a weapon. The historical ninja did do that as well. You know, people would make mythology and talk about magical ninjas and shit running across water and stuff. There were historical accounts of that, and like from what I've read, the historical ninja were like, good. You're scared of us? That's good. We want you to be afraid of us.
Their weapon, yeah.
I think if you think about this in the absolute strictest sense you could possibly put the word ninja in, you would have to be an active ninja assassin that practiced a form of historical ninjutsu from a legit ninja lineage in Japan in order to be a ninja. But then, you know, you kind of get into the argument of like, I mean, it's just hard to be that strict, I guess. Like, every culture in the world has had espionage in their warfare, like I've said many times. Sure. And there are assassins from everywhere and any point in history. And this is another thing I've thought of. If you were on a stealth mission right now, like if you're an actual CIA agent and you use a taekwondo kick to kick somebody out of a window, does that taekwondo kind of become ninjutsu? you know what I mean? He used a fucking martial arts thing on a stealth mission that worked for you, was practical. So it does get a little hazy, like I said, but it's just interesting to think about. But anyway, let's get back to the actual point here. Let's just keep it simple. Batman employs espionage, different costume, plays with the fear of others. He uses smoke bombs, got the gauntlets. He uses Shuriken of a sort. General uses sneakiness most of the time, right? Should be anyway. The only thing that you get caught up on is he's not really an assassin. So the only thing you get hung up on is that. But I think even despite that, I think Batman is still a ninja. So that's superhero stuff you should know. Okay, so thanks to Dan, the MVP, for finding many of these images and helping with some of the notes and shit like that. It was my first time working with Dan, and that's great. The fifth Beatle here, and so we have our first comment after moving on from thanking Dan from Nerdette's newsstand. She said, I'm pretty sure it's a woman. Correct me if my pronouns are wrong. But holy crap, I just listened to this entire thing. And more than anything, bravo! Great research, great conversation. And this was on the why Bruce Wayne should just use his money to help Gotham is a bad take episode.
Yes. Thank you, Nerdette's newsstand, for that. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, having Nerdette, we're assuming female. So, all right.
Yes.
All right, we got Jose Arrocha next. And he said, I agree with the opinion that the Tim Burton Batman movies are Burton movies. As far as Batman Begins, even though it's grounded in realism, it's the first time they really lean into the comics. Because Batman Begins is very much an adaptation of Year One. The same thing for The Dark Knight. An adaptation of The Long Halloween and a superior story, in my opinion. So it's rooted in the comics. I know you guys here don't like The Dark Knight Rises. It's fine. But I love that movie. I like that it's a loose adaptation of different storylines. Nightfall, The Cult, No Man's Land, what have you. It works for me, and it's very much Batman. Same goes for Pattinson. I still don't think he has the physical elegance of Bale or Affleck to pull off... elegance, okay. Affleck to pull off Bruce Wayne. But the trailer was still excellent. People can debate as much as they want, but Bale, Affleck, and now Pattinson are all Batman. And I believe Kane and Finger would approve of all three!
Strong words.
Strong words, I guess. Yes.
Strong delivery, Andrew.
Yes. Strong delivery. It's all
From
about
9-year-old Jose Arocha.
From 45 to 9.
Yes.
I'll jump in on my thoughts on this. Is that I think every era of Batman movies is in some way rooted in the comics in something. You know, even the Burton stuff is very much drawing off of Cane and Finger, combined with the 70s run, at least with 89, and then like with Returns. They kind of went their own directions, of course, with Penguin and Catwoman, but there's a lot of stuff that still is rooted into things that had happened in the comics. Whether or not they knew it was rooted in the comics is a whole other story. But a lot of, I'd say every single era has been somewhat rooted in the comics. I think it just kind of comes down to which era that you prefer. And I think a lot of fans these days are very much used to the top Batman comics that are listed in like Reddit or different fan sites and stuff that include Year One, The Long Halloween, The Dark Knight Returns, Nightfall, all that type of stuff. So it's easier to recognize it when those things have, you know, show up in the Nolan movies than now in the Pattinson movie that's coming up. And I think it comes down to like, what elements do you like the most, and what things do you find that you are looking forward to that you don't think you really got that much of beforehand. To some people, that might be what seems like the Batman narration that you get from the comics that we haven't really gotten in live action, that it looks like we might actually be getting in the upcoming movie. So for some people, that might be a huge thing. For other people, they might prefer the sort of Rise of the Freaks element from Long Halloween that kind of gets conveyed into the Dark Knight. So no matter what sort of the source material is, I think there's plenty to draw off of and plenty for multiple different takes, as we all can kind of agree.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Thank you, Jose Arrocha. All right. Last comment before we're out of here.
This is
help us out with this, Ben.
Yes, so this is us thinking, holy duck, for sharing out the why Bruce Wayne should just use his money to help Gotham is a bad take episode, because that's exactly why we did this episode, so that people who are on Twitter, who basically agree with us, can help share around this video to sway the other side, who seems to think that this is a new idea whenever they say this on Twitter. So
I am very smart.
Holy Duck offered this, and it looks like the main comment that Holy Duck got in return was a form of what we call in logical fallacies moving the goalpost, of where it's now like not about whether Bruce Wayne should help out Gotham. It's now that Bruce Wayne should donate all of his money and no longer be a billionaire, which I think is a whole other debate entirely. So yes. So anyway, thank you again, Holy Duck. I think you also left a comment on the video itself, but just wanted to shout out to you for sharing this, and thanks a lot.
Holy Duck.
Thank you. Holy Duck. All right, man. So is this correct, Ben?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's awesome. So we'd like to thank our Patreones. That'd be Shasta, Leom O, Super Inframan, Douglas P, Dan D, Aaron Willett, Nick Noir, Jesse E, Jeffrey R, Scott V, Asgers Webb, Jeremy H, Alex of the What Mean Podcast, Ian Justice, Jared P, Paul C, Jamie H, Rochelle L, and Tara M. Other supporters include Sparkageddon, SECT Productions, Robert Schumann, Cookie Nons, Matt Herring, Elijah B, Shamrock Balls, Ian H, Walter the Wobot, John Wells, Rye Guy, Jackson Putnam, and Tway N.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please join the Shasta Army, y'all. That's the $1 tier. Gets you that shout out. But the $5 tier, come on. That's where the real awesomeness happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another show every Friday on the Patreon feed. Cancel anytime. It pretty much rounds out to like less than $1 an episode a week.
Yep.
So there's that. And yeah, we have our $10 tier as well, which is our monthly meetup. And that one is growing as well. Please join. It's where we kind of like react to shit with fans of the show live, and it remains at the $10 tier. And yeah, we just roasted a bunch of Batman costumes from Halloween fails.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad and shit like that. So that was a good time. And yeah, moving on from that. Yeah, please check out our merch. It's a Redbubble and Threadless. So superhousepod.redbubble.com and superherostuffpod.threadless.com. Get all of our merch there. Still working on yours, man. Man, can you remind me during the week, dude? I fucking forget this shit. This goes in one ear and out the other as soon as I quit recording, bro.
White Shadow is upset.
White Shadow, please help me come to the dojo during the week, man. So yeah, artwork by Stefan Santa Cruz. He wants to go back to his other name. It was Wolfie, but yeah. So there you go. There's that. Please send us an audio clip. Again, shame to you who haven't. Send that audio clip to superhousepodcast@gmail.com. What'll be funny is if you send a bold statement or some wild shit like, I hate the Beatles, or I hate Star Wars, or I don't know.
Batman's not a ninja.
Or something like that. I mean, it's
Batman
negative,
smells.
but if it's funny, if it's funny, whatever. So that'd be cool. And I'm ThunderWolfDrew on Instagram and Twitter. ThunderWolf lives on gosh dang YouTube. And ThunderWolfDrew.com has my whole portfolio and all that, except for AmanoRecon.com. That is spelled AMANORECON.com. R-rated tokusatsu. A lot of Japanese in this episode, so might as well explain it. Tokusatsu means special effects, so generally refers to Japanese special effects. Even Godzilla is included in tokusatsu, as well as Power Rangers shit, which is what this is. It's tokusatsu. It's a Power Rangers inspired, influenced R-rated thing that I'm making now, and it's also got an X-Files and Stranger Things vibe to it, but still rated R. It's a sci-fi horror comedy. This artwork right here is by White Shadow, and it's going to be an Indiegogo campaign still coming. I'm working like a motherfucker on this thing lately, so yeah, that's it for me, Ben.
Shout out to Comic Capital on Instagram, as well as the Everything Entertainment Club on Clubhouse. You can follow us on Twitter at SuperHousePod. Next, you can follow us on Instagram at SuperheroStuffPod, or TikTok at SuperheroStuffPod. We're also on Vero now at SuperheroStuffPod. My website is benwanwriter.com, and you can follow my YouTube channel in the description below is where the link is, but it has all sorts of other pitch videos from the past episodes, different clips, and all that type of stuff. And then in the next slide, as you could see, my Instagram is benwanwriter, and my son's Instagram, my cat, is Alfie, at Alfie Pennyworth Cat, the ginger cat. So you might...
He has a soul.
Yes, he has a soul. If you join the $10 Patreon tier, you may end up meeting him on it. But he is at Alfie Pennyworth Cat. And if you have an Alfie yourself, then you can get Whiskerbox, the only cat box for the crazy cat lady and gent. And if you don't have a cat, but you have a dog, that's okay. Because we got the BarkBox, y'all. That's right. The BarkBox promo that you might have heard earlier on. We got our own specific link where you can get the first month off free, valued at $35. And you can check all that type of stuff off. Check all that out at our affiliate links at superherostuffpod.com/shop. All sorts of great shit. BarkBox, Whiskerbox, Amazon stuff, eBay stuff. Check it out. Add more to your collection and help us out.
Please do.
Whisper Bidet. Well, if you'd like to see less of me and more of my artwork, you can go to ZacharyJacksonBrownArt.com, and you can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and the YouTubes. Just look for Zachary Jackson Brown Art. Since it's October, I've been doing less Batman stuff and more horror-related stuff, which is really my bread and butter as far as t-shirt designs and stuff like that. But yeah, you can just come and check it out.
Nice.
Yep. So, I want you to do us a favor.
I want you to tell all your friends about us.
Indeed. Superhero Stuff You Should Know is part of the Greenlit Podcast Network.